Our daily Bible reading today comes from Psalms chapter 127 through chapter 133. And our daily devotional today here at Carrollton Christian Fellowship is from Psalm 127. And so this is a very short psalm. It's 5 verses. And this psalm is a continuation of those psalms of ascent. So these songs that would have been sang in approach to and going up to the temple there in Jerusalem and into and ascending to the city of Jerusalem. So these songs would have been sang during the different feasts that would have been throughout the year and different pilgrimages that they were called to keep. And so with this song, it is a song that is believed to be written by Solomon, or it is believed to be written by David for Solomon. The majority believe that it is a song of Solomon. So we will go with and stick with that with the application for us. With this psalm, it is a psalm that is recognizing the strength of the nation there of Israel and of the people, both of the past and also all that will remain in the future and everything going forward. So it is a psalm that is recognizing that and recognizing where it comes from and what it is dependent upon. And so that strength of where they are now and also where they will be in the future is dependent on trusting and relying on the Lord and the Lord's ways. This psalm is a reminder to me of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9 through 15, Malachi chapter 1, verse 4, Zechariah chapter 2, verses 4 through 5, and also 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 3 through 5. So all of these verses there, those 4 different verses that this reminds me of, this psalm here, is they are verses that tell us about what it is like to trust the Lord and putting our trust and dependence in the Lord's strength and for the Lord to complete things and for the Lord to go about doing things. So we put our trust in the Lord for that. In verses 1 through 2, we see that Solomon understood that our work is important. Our work is important. What we do, what our obedience, our faithful obedience and faithful response to the Lord, it is important. It's important. It's a must. It's a required. And that the Lord does use our hands. The Lord does use us. The Lord chooses to use us. And what a great and awesome and mighty thing that is to understand and just to even ponder and to think about. But without it being God's work, if it is our work and if it's done in our strength, if it's done in our way, then it will all come for nothing. It's all for nothing. If it's not done the Lord's way and through the Lord's strength, then it's for nothing. The Lord said, not by flesh nor by might, but by my spirit, he will do all things and complete all things. So it's not by our work. It's not by what we can do and what we can complete and by the ways and systems of the world that he completes things, but it's by his spirit and his spirit moving and his spirit completing things. And so in verse 2, we see that Solomon understood that it's foolish to rely on our strength or the corporate strength that we can even look at and say for us and apply this to us today. For corporate America, for the church to rely on the corporate structure of America in order to complete what the church needs to do and how the church goes about doing ministry, it's foolishness. It's foolishness. It's unwise to copy the corporate structure because the system and the structure of going about and doing things and business of the world, it does not transfer over to the church. It doesn't, because it's only what is done in man's strength then. But it's about, and it should be, and its intention from the Lord is that anything that happens and anything that he does is done by his strength and by his spirit. And it's foolish to rely on our strength even. So not only the corporate structure or to rely on things that are not of the Lord, but things that perish, but also ourselves. Not to rely on our own strength, not to rely on that we are able to do or complete anything apart from the Lord and apart from the Lord's direction, the Lord's leading, the Lord's guiding, the Lord's wisdom, and what the Lord is doing, not what we want to do. And then we have the Lord do those things. So Solomon understands and realizes this. And then in verse 3 through 5, Solomon understood that the work of raising our children, the work of raising children, it is important. It's important. It's important to raise your children. It's important to pour into children's lives, into what they do, where they go, all of these things. But if it's not done in God's direction, and it's not done how the Lord desires to do it, and through the Lord's raising and upbringing through His word, then it's all for nothing. It's foolish. It's foolish to raise our children in anything other than the Lord and then expect that they will return to the Lord, because all they're going to return to is what they were raised in. They're going to return to whatever individuals' thoughts and whatever individual's psychology and whatever an individual thought was best for them. But if we raise up in the Lord's thoughts, the Lord's directions, then guess where they're going to return? They are going to return to the Lord. And so Solomon understood this. Solomon understood that where the children of Israel had come, where the nation had come, where the people had come, and also how they were going to go directionally in the future, all relied on this. How were they going to continue following in the leading and direction and guiding and strength of the Lord for themselves presently, and also how to raise up and to teach others and to teach the younger generations to then do the same thing. And so this is very important. This is very important. We're going to see that through another few couple of days here in the remainder of the Psalms. We also see that going into the Proverbs, that this aspect is very important in doing things God's way and not doing things the way we think is best, not doing things the way the world thinks is best, or that a corporate structure thinks is best, but doing things the way the Lord knows is best, because the Lord knows us, as we'll see in a few days going forward in the Psalms. So I hope this can be an encouragement to you of where to go, where to look to in order to know how to do things, in order to know how to go forward in things, whether it be in ministry or in your family. We go to the Word. We go to God's Word for that to be a lamp unto our feet, to guide us and give us the path and direction, and to give us understanding and to illuminate the steps that He wants us to go to. It's not enough to know His direction. We also have to have His leading. So His path and His leading and His illumination. It's nothing of our own. It's nothing of anyone else's. It's all based upon and upon the Lord. So I hope again this can be a great encouragement to you, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Have a blessed one.